California, a living paradox, a territory forged by primordial powers. This is the story of a rebellious land shaped by titanic forces for millennia. Where burning deserts meet ancient forests, and the earth splits along the San Andreas Fault in an eternal geological dance. While tourists crowd the most famous places, a primordial California continues its ancient tale. Death Valley, for example, with its salt crystals 85 meters below sea level. Or the millennial sequoias, which have witnessed the slow passage of Earth's history. Welcome to this journey through the most beautiful places and hidden wonders of California. A story that began long before mankind, and destined to continue long after our passage. Sequoia National Park. The trees rise toward the sky like natural skyscrapers, some growing for over 3,000 years. Sequoia National Park preserves these giants that have witnessed the rise and fall of human civilizations while remaining motionless in their realm. General Sherman stands as the largest tree on Earth, with a trunk that requires 15 people with outstretched arms to surround it. Typically, sequoias survive fires thanks to their thick bark that protects the tree's core. And in fact, they need fire to reproduce, as flames open the cones and release the seeds. Black bears move among these colossi in search of food, while rangers guide visitors through forests where light barely filters down to the ground. The silence here is interrupted only by wind blowing through the high branches or the occasional sound of a pine cone falling to the ground after an 80-meter journey. Established in 1890, the park was among the first to receive federal protection, a result of pioneering naturalist vision who understood the uniqueness of this ecosystem. Additionally, these lands have been inhabited for millennia by the Mono and Yokut Native Americans, telling a story of deep connection between humans and nature that continues to this day. Death Valley. An environment of absolute extreme conditions, located between California and Nevada. This desert territory appears as a landscape from another world, also constituting the lowest elevation point in North America and the place where the highest temperature on the planet has been recorded. In this area, there are surprising scenes, with formations of golden sand dunes alternating with plains covered in white salt. Badwater Basin, for example, one of the most characteristic zones, offers panoramas reminiscent of the lunar surface, with its cracked terrain and salt expanses. Despite the ominous name, this environment hosts various life forms. In fact, following sporadic rain events, the desert temporarily transforms into a carpet of colorful wildflowers, creating a spectacle as unexpected as it is fascinating. Death Valley thus demonstrates the strength and beauty of nature, capable of manifesting even in the most prohibitive environmental conditions. Yosemite National Park. In the Sierra Nevada, Yosemite presents itself as a natural treasure, characterized by imposing granite walls, mountain lakes, and impressive waterfalls. Indeed, this landscape contains some of America's most iconic views. El Capitan and Half Dome, for example, which are massive rock blocks, attract climbers from around the world who dream of conquering their vertical walls. Yosemite Falls, instead, figure among the highest waterfalls in North America and amaze tourists with the power of their water flow. The hiking trails, moreover, wind through grassy expanses dotted with flowers, forests of giant sequoias, and mountain passes, thus offering unique perspectives on Yosemite Valley. Finally, the panoramic point of Glacier Point offers extraordinary views of the surrounding peaks and deep gorges, and from this privileged position, tourists can appreciate the immensity of the landscape in all its magnificence. Mojave National Preserve. In the heart of the Californian desert, a world of silence and wonder opens up. The Mojave National Preserve extends for more than 1.6 million acres, an ecosystem where life defies all logic. The Kelso sand dunes move with the wind, like waves of a golden ocean, constantly changing shape and position. The Joshua trees, with their branches twisted toward the sky, seem to point the way for travelers. But it's in the lava caves that darkness tells the volcanic history of this land, where molten rock created underground tunnels and galleries. At dawn and sunset, light transforms the landscape into a canvas of impossible colors, while silence envelops everything, like a cloak. Desert animals move stealthily among cacti and rocks, adapted to extreme conditions, where every drop of water is precious. During rare rains, the desert responds with an explosion of life and colors, revealing the true resilience hidden beneath the seemingly arid surface. Mount Whitney and Alabama Hills. Land of contrasts, where the human eye is put to the test. Mount Whitney rises majestically over the landscape, touching the sky with its peak, the highest in continental California. Not far away, the Alabama Hills emerge from the ground, like stone guardians, silent witnesses of passing time. Here, light dances on the rocks, transforming the landscape hour after hour. The rounded boulders are due to millennia of erosion, while the granite formations create natural windows, which frame the Sierra Nevada. Hollywood discovered this place decades ago, transforming it into a backdrop for hundreds of Western films that have shaped the collective imagination of the American West. It should also be remembered that walking among these natural monuments, one finds oneself walking in the same tracks as generations of Paiute natives who considered this land sacred. Additionally, in this landscape, the snowy peaks and golden rocks create a visual dialogue that has no equal, where nature has written its most spectacular story with only three elements: stone, snow, and sky. Joshua Tree National Park. Two deserts meet in this corner of California, creating an ecosystem where life adapts to survive in extreme conditions. Joshua trees, actually giant yuccas, extend toward the sky with twisted branches, like arms raised in prayer. Rock formations pop out of the earth, piled in stacks that defy gravity. And tourists climb among these boulders, exploring cavities and passages created by erosion. Desert animals come out at sunset when temperatures drop and hunting becomes possible. Joshua Tree is a place where plants and animals have developed their own strategies to thrive where water is scarce and the sun burns without mercy. Big Sur. Between San Francisco and Los Angeles stretches one of the most spectacular coastal sections in the world. Big Sur is a place where the Santa Lucia Mountains plunge dramatically into the Pacific Ocean, creating wonderful panoramas at every turn of Highway 1. Iconic bridges like the Bixby Creek Bridge seem suspended between sky and sea. Hidden beaches, accessible only through steep trails, offer a rare solitude in California. The giant redwoods of Julia Pfeiffer Burns State Park create natural cathedrals, while McWay Falls plunges directly into the ocean in a surreal spectacle. Artists, writers, and spiritual seekers have found inspiration in these landscapes for decades. That's why Big Sur is more than a destination. It's an experience that touches the soul, a place where nature's majesty reveals itself in all its power. Point Reyes National Seashore. This long coastal stretch distinguishes itself in California's geography as a territory that is literally in motion. This peninsula slides northwest about 2 inches each year along the San Andreas Fault, and indigenous populations were the first to understand the richness of this environment, developing techniques to exploit marine and plant resources. The lighthouse, built in 1870 on a wind-beaten cliff, represents a fundamental chapter of local maritime history, with keepers who had to climb more than 300 steps to keep the light burning, protecting ships from the dangers of the coast. The Fresnel lens, composed of glass prisms, still projects a light beam visible from 20 miles away today. Here there are also sea elephants, which periodically transform the beaches into theaters of wildlife during breeding seasons. Dominant males compete for control of the colonies through spectacular confrontations, while females gather in harems. Finally, there are also the Alamir waterfalls, which are one of the few waterfalls to flow directly into the ocean. Monterey Bay. A meeting between land and ocean that transforms the California coast into a theater of wildlife. The Monterey Peninsula, with its wind-sculpted cypresses, tells stories of resilience against the forces of nature. Here, the coastal landscape presents itself as a mosaic of granite cliffs, sandy beaches, and sheltered bays. While morning fogs envelop the coastline, sea lions gather on the rocks, filling the air with their calls. Along the famous 17-mile drive, instead, every curve reveals a new panorama that captures the imagination. Moreover, small coastal centers like Carmel by the Sea, Cannery Row, and Pacific Grove preserve the soul of old California with architectures that blend harmoniously with the natural landscape. This land has inspired artists who have been able to capture the essence of a place where beauty is not only what you see, but what you feel when you walk along the wind-beaten paths. Redwood National Park. The giants of the California coast tower toward the sky, while morning fog envelops their massive trunks. These trees have existed for over 2,000 years, silent witnesses to the history that has unfolded beneath their branches. Here, visitors walk with their necks bent backward, trying to glimpse the tops that reach heights of over 100 meters, and light filters through the foliage, creating rays that illuminate the understory rich with life. Mushrooms and ferns thrive in the humid ecosystem, while the nearby coast completes this primordial world with beaches where ocean waves have shaped rocks and logs carried by the current. Redwood represents nature's resilience, a place where humans rediscover their own dimension in the universe. MacArthur Burney Falls. A waterfall hidden in the heart of Northern California. The water falls from almost 130 feet, creating a spectacle that has enchanted generations of visitors. This waterfall is born not only from the visible current of the stream, but also springs directly from the porous volcanic rock, as if the mountain itself revealed its liquid soul. With about 100 million gallons of water precipitating every day, this oasis of life thrives even in the driest months of the year, thanks to the underground aquifer, which never stops giving. This place impressed even President Theodore Roosevelt, who defined it as the eighth wonder of the world, earning in 1954 the recognition of National Natural Monument. Antelope Valley. A sea of colors that challenges the aridity of the Californian desert. The land here tells a story of resilience, since for months it remains apparently sterile under the relentless sun, only to explode in a celebration of life when conditions become favorable. Indeed, during a few weeks each year, this landscape transforms into a carpet of orange poppies that extends as far as the eye can see. This phenomenon, known as superbloom, depends on a delicate balance of winter rains and spring temperatures. Among the flowers, moreover, hides a rich ecosystem with pollinators and small mammals that depend on this brief abundance. The ancient Kitanamoke natives considered this bloom a sacred gift, using poppies not only for decorations, but also for traditional medicines. This explosion of life represents the symbol of nature's ability to be reborn even in the most extreme conditions. Mount and Lake Shasta. A giant of rock that rises from the earth like a guardian of Northern California. Mount Shasta is a world unto itself, with clouds caressing the peak at 14,179 feet. The ancient Wintu natives considered this colossus the center of their spiritual universe, home to spirits and deities, who still today seem to whisper through the wind that lashes the stone. Not far away, Lake Shasta reflects the sky like a mirror, born from the hand of man, but adopted by nature as its own child. Its waters hide submerged forests and ghost villages, witnesses of a past swallowed up, to quench California's thirst. All around, ancient conifer forests embrace these two giants, creating a mosaic of emerald green where sequoias, ponderosa pines, and Douglas firs thrive undisturbed, offering refuge to deer, bald eagles, and black bears that move silently among these natural sanctuaries. San Francisco. Dominated by the majestic Golden Gate Bridge, it's a city rich in recognizable symbols and characterized by an extraordinary cultural fusion. The famous Red Bridge stands against the sky, representing not just an engineering feat, but the very soul of the city. The historic cable cars, meanwhile, tirelessly traverse the steep city slopes, offering passengers panoramic views of the bay and surroundings that change with every turn. These characteristic modes of transportation constitute a living connection to the city's past. Fisherman's Wharf, moreover, serves as the beating heart of port activity, where fishermen work from the first light of dawn, while tourists can savor freshly caught fish and seafood at the numerous stalls and restaurants lining the pier. The city also functions as an important artistic and cultural center, with institutions like the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, or with various local theaters presenting a wide range of performances from classical ballet to the latest Broadway musicals. Finally, distinctive neighborhoods like the lively Chinatown and historic Castro reveal the metropolis's multiple faces, each with its own identity and unique past. Walking through these areas, one perceives how San Francisco remains a place where differences in progress move side by side, creating an urban environment in continuous evolution and open to new ideas. Los Angeles. A metropolis of aspirations, celebrities, and endless opportunities, known primarily for Hollywood and its worldwide influence in the entertainment industry. Beyond the allure of film premieres and star footprints on the Walk of Fame, the city offers a wide range of cultural and environmental experiences. From Venice Beach, with its skaters and street performers, to Griffith Park, where the Griffith Observatory offers complete views of the urban expanse and the famous Hollywood sign. Visitors can therefore explore both the lively beaches and the natural areas surrounding the city. Los Angeles also functions as an important hub for prestigious artistic institutions, like the Getty Center, which contains European collections and meticulously detailed gardens, and the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. These cultural spaces certainly offer an interesting contrast to the glamorous image more commonly associated with the city. Santa Barbara. A corner of the Mediterranean set in the California coast. The streets of the historic center tell stories of Spanish conquistadors and Franciscan missionaries who have left their mark in every corner. Here, colonial architecture represents not just an aesthetic appeal, but the testimony of a past that still breathes among the porticos and squares. Every day from the ancient pier, local fishermen unload their catch, while the hills that embrace the city guard various vineyards, transforming this region also into a pilgrimage destination for wine enthusiasts. Just a few steps from the urban center, moreover, the Channel Islands emerge from the ocean, visible from the coast on clear days. Santa Barbara is one of the places where California shows its most authentic face, where land and sea collaborate to create a unique ecosystem. Lake Tahoe. A beautiful mountain lake between California and Nevada. Its waters are so clear they seem like crystal, and around it are majestic mountains. In summer, the golden sand beaches are perfect for swimming and water sports. There are also many trails for hiking, from which you can appreciate romantic panoramas of the lake. In winter, the place transforms into a paradise for those who love skiing and snowboarding, with some of America's best ski resorts. On the Nevada side, moreover, there are casinos and luxury resorts, while the California part is more wild and tranquil. This mix makes it a unique place where you can find both adventure and relaxation, with the lake changing appearance with the seasons, but always remaining a magical place. Santa Catalina Island. Just 22 miles from the coast of Los Angeles floats Santa Catalina, a Mediterranean jewel in the Californian Pacific. Dominated by steep mountains that drop into crystalline bays, this island has lived multiple lives, from refuge for smugglers during Prohibition to film set for hundreds of Hollywood movies. The picturesque village of Avalon, with its iconic Art Deco casino from 1929, doesn't host gambling, but an extraordinary ballroom from the swing era. Here, moreover, the main street runs along the enchanting bay, connecting outdoor cafes and souvenir shops, while the beachfront is dotted with palm trees and small sandy beaches that fill with families and couples enjoying the Mediterranean climate in a relaxed atmosphere. In the surrounding waters, finally, kelp forests create an ecosystem where orange Garibaldi swim, while bison roam free on the hills, and were introduced here in the 20s for a Western film never completed. Napa Valley. "400 wineries are distributed in just 50 kilometers of territory, creating a mosaic of vineyards. Morning fog from San Francisco Bay rolls over the hills, creating the ideal microclimate for world-famous vines. The volcanic soil presents over 100 different variations, allowing cultivation of dozens of grape varieties. Before the 1970s, the region mainly produced nuts and fruit, but everything changed in 1976 when Napa wines defeated French ones in a historic competition that revolutionized the American wine industry. Additionally, beneath the vineyards thrives a complex ecosystem of microorganisms that contributes to the unique flavor of the wines. Body. A ghost town frozen in time, witness to the gold fever that transformed California. The deserted streets, once teeming with prospectors, gamblers, and outlaws, now host only the wind, which whispers stories of fortunes earned and lost in the blink of an eye. The wooden buildings, maintained in a state of controlled decay, are not restored but preserved exactly as they were abandoned, with set tables and shops stocked with goods, now covered in dust. In the surrounding mines where men risk their lives every day, now reigns silence. Even the tombstones in the cemetery tell of short lives and violent deaths, when survival often depended on how quickly one could draw a gun. This small town prospered until 1880 with over 7,000 inhabitants, but the depletion of gold deposits, followed by the economic crisis of 1929 and a devastating fire in 1932, condemned it to a slow decline until its final abandonment in the 40s when the last mine closed its doors. Ferndale. A Victorian village where time has slowed its course. The houses with vibrant colors known as butterfat palaces remind of cattle ranchers and butter producers who transformed their wealth into architecture, creating an open-air museum of a past era. While walking down Main Street, shops invite you to enter with old signs that could appear in a Western movie. In the surrounding fields instead, cows graze as they did a century ago, when this valley was known as the land of milk and honey. It's not surprising that Hollywood has chosen this place for several films, right in a place where nostalgia is not a feeling, but a way of life. Mammoth Lakes. A land forged by fire and sculpted by ice. Set in the eastern Sierra Nevada, it's an alpine paradise that pulses with the volcanic energy of its origin. The name derives from the imposing Mammoth Mountain, formed over 50,000 years ago from repeated eruptions that have modeled this extraordinary landscape. Here, nature has created a mosaic of crystalline lakes surrounded by pines that reflect in their waters, while in the distance stand majestic peaks that exceed 10,000 feet. There is also Hot Creek, a watercourse where thermal springs create vapors and remind of the primordial forces that sleep underground. In winter, the region transforms into one of the most renowned ski areas in California, with over 3,500 acres of slopes that attract enthusiasts from everywhere. The human history of Mammoth sinks its roots in the ancient Paiute tribes, but it was the gold fever of 1878 that brought the first European settlements. The mining boom quickly exhausted, but the beauty of the place remained, gradually transforming this place from mining camp to world-famous tourist destination. San Bernardino National Forest. Between two mountain ranges, life finds surprising ways to thrive. The forest contains ecosystems that transform with altitude, like pages of a book that tells the evolutionary history of California. In the valley, cacti and yucca cling to arid terrain. Climbing up, you encounter woods of century-old oaks, with trunks twisted by time and wind. Even higher, ponderosa pines and giant sequoias create natural cathedrals where light is filtered into luminous beams. The rivers that originate here nourish the valleys below, creating a vital connection between mountain and desert. Moreover, during winter, snow transforms the peaks into white islands above a sea of clouds, while in spring the meadows explode with wildflowers covering every inch of land. Coachella Valley. The Coachella Valley extends in the desert of southeastern California, like an unexpected oasis among the surrounding mountains. This territory, transformed by human intervention, hides a fascinating geological history under its mantle of palms and golf courses. The valley hosts over 120 golf facilities that dot the desert landscape, creating a surprising contrast between artificial green and natural aridity. During summer, the thermometer regularly exceeds 100 degrees Fahrenheit, reminding visitors of the true nature of this extreme environment. Despite the prohibitive climatic conditions, the valley produces a surprising agricultural wealth, thanks to underground waters that nourish plantations of dates, citrus, and vegetables. Indio, beating heart of the region with its 90,000 inhabitants, periodically transforms the desert into a cultural epicenter through world-famous music festivals. This place thus tells a story of adaptation and transformation, where nature and culture intertwine, creating a unique ecosystem in the Californian panorama. Sonoran Desert. Saguaro cacti stand like sentinels in this extreme territory. They live up to 200 years and grow only here, becoming symbols of resistance. Here, the temperature ranges from 45 degrees during the day to intense cold after sunset. Natives have also left petroglyphs on rocks, witnesses to human presence in these seemingly inhospitable lands. Additionally, every spring, after winter rains, the ground is covered with wildflowers for a few weeks, transforming the landscape, while at night, the desert comes alive when snakes, coyotes, and owls come out to hunt under the starry sky. In the Sonoran, finally, water represents life. The saguaro, in fact, stores enough to survive years of drought, while many animals remain in hibernation until the rains arrive. Sierra National Forest. A territory where geological and human history intertwine in surprising ways. This vast mountain ecosystem, officially protected since 1893, guards a water network of extraordinary importance that nourishes rivers and lakes. In the underground of these mountains, moreover, hides a history of wealth that triggered the famous gold rush, forever transforming this corner of California. Bass Lake emerges as a blue jewel, set in the forest, created by human ingenuity in 1901 through the damming of Willow Creek. Not far away, Devil's Postpile reveals a rare geological phenomenon with perfectly hexagonal basalt columns, witnesses of a volcanic eruption that occurred 100,000 years ago. The Ansel Adams Wilderness, instead, preserves landscapes immortalized in the famous black and white photographs that have changed our perception of American nature. Completing this natural mosaic are Rainbow Falls, where water plunges for 100 feet, with the sun constantly transforming its mist into rainbows. San Diego. Kissed by the sun of Southern California, it embodies the West Coast dream. Its beaches, from Coronado to Wild Torrey Pines, offer scenarios for every taste, from surfing to relaxation. Balboa Park, an urban oasis, hosts the world's most famous zoo and international-level museums. The Gaslamp Quarter pulses with nightlife, while Little Italy delights with its restaurants and outdoor markets. Spanish colonial history comes alive in the Old Town, among restored historic buildings and mariachis. With its perfect climate year-round and its atmosphere, San Diego offers an ideal balance between urban life and natural beauty, perfectly embodying the essence of the Californian lifestyle. Santa Monica. The California coast meets urban culture in this corner of Los Angeles where the iconic Ferris wheel on the pier stands against the Pacific horizon. Surfers ride the waves from dawn, while cyclists travel the path that winds for miles along the beach. The pier, meanwhile, extends into the ocean, hosting an amusement park that preserves the nostalgic atmosphere of mid-century California. There are also palm trees swaying in the sea breeze, while street artists entertain visitors from all parts of the world. Additionally, 3rd Street Promenade pulses with life, featuring musicians, shops, and restaurants until late at night, while restored Victorian houses tell the story of the first settlers. Santa Monica represents the essence of the California dream, a place where nature and culture blend. Malibu. Waves break on the coast, while surfers wait for the perfect moment to ride them. Despite recent fires, Malibu remains a symbol of wild beauty and resilience, and represents the California myth in its purest state, where ocean and mountains converge in a territory that has attracted movie stars and hippies for generations. Houses climb steep slopes, many hidden from the road but with a complete view of the Pacific Ocean. Culture here revolves around water, and every morning begins with the surfing ritual. The Pacific Coast Highway, moreover, cuts through this territory, separating beaches from hills and carrying tourists and commuters along one of the most photographed stretches of road in the world. Sunsets here become social events, with residents and visitors stopping every day to watch the sun disappear into the ocean. Bodega Bay. The northern coast of California hides a jewel where the land embraces the ocean, and it's Bodega Bay. This natural harbor, modeled by millennia of tides, reveals a geological history engraved in its cliffs. The waters of the bay, rich in nutrients transported by deep currents, nourish an extraordinarily productive marine ecosystem. The constant wind makes this place a reference point for sailors and windsurfing enthusiasts, while in the morning fog often covers the bay, creating a particular atmosphere. Today, the bay is part of a system of protected areas, which includes the Bodega Marine Reserve, where researchers study and preserve the marine environment. This territory thus tells a story of connection between man and ocean, which continues to evolve over time.